Guys, press the got it button so it clears the screen, and I'm going to mute everybody. Okay. Gary, you just unmuted yourself.
Yes.
So mute yourself, or I'll mute you.
Okay.
I'll do it. All right, you're good. All right, so remember, upright seat, sitting at the edge of your chair. And one of the most potent principles that come to us from the Tai Chi and Taoist, which is the sort of philosophical underlying philosophy that underlies all the really cool things from ancient China, like all the beautiful sort of brushstroke art that you see, Chinese medicine, feng shui, like this idea of everything being arranged in your space or out in the gardens, Taoist sort of gardening principles, all of that comes from Taoism. So how that relates to our body, the most important principles are tone and song. And you might know what those are because I've mentioned them, but I'll mention them again. Tone means through. Like an open hose is through, and if it's kinked, it's not working out so well. So throughness is a concept we don't have, but in Taoist sort of technical terminology, they do. And song is soft and supple, right? So as opposed to thinking of a good, healthy, strong body as every muscle fiber firmed to the absolute, like a Herculean body just chiseled, right? That can last for a period of time, but then eventually, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you, David and Eva. You guys just muted. I'll mute you here. All right. Okay. Good to see you guys. Okay, so again, that doesn't mean we want to have an atrophied body. Doesn't mean there isn't muscle tone and strength. It just means rigidity isn't the end state. That's not the end goal. But a lot of times we think of having strength. That's what we first think of. But the Taoist sort of philosophical ideas are like, look at a baby and look also at a young tree that can move and lean and tip and is very pliable and supple. And so that's what we're training in our bodies. That's what we want to cultivate into our 80s, 90s, 100s, right? That's what can allow us to move, have less pain, but also for our class today, the idea of rootedness and connection to the ground and feeling like we're not top heavy and going to fall over. It has to do with that softness and that throughness, so that instead of holding the starch in the body, it's through and down and underneath us. And then up here is light and loose, and we can change leg to leg. So those are powerful concepts, and how do we take them from an idea into our body? Well, that's what we've been doing in the Monday class as well as the Friday class. So let that just sit in your mind, everything I just chatted about, as we do a little breathing. In the nose, out the mouth, or the nose. Try to get nasal breathing going on the intake. Do an appropriate amount of attention to posture. Tippity top of the head, the crown, aligning that above the perineum, this floor of the pelvis, thinking of it like a battery, positive end, negative end, the channel that runs up and down between those two poles is the chong mai, or the thrusting channel, or the very fast connection channel. And that is our central axis line. That's more of an energetic place than it is a structure like our spine. Our spine is involved with that, but think of it more just at the energetic level, your central channel. Aligning that, let everything else go soft, supple, relax. When you relax, instead of the body drooping and collapsing, it actually gets plump. It actually expands slightly from the middle out. So everything opens up and we feel a little bit more plump, a little more spacious, which is that idea of tong or through. So align and then relax and then cultivate a feeling of throughness, of allowing, of space. We'll be here just one more minute. And another important point is stillness isn't the absence of movement. So as we sit still, we're not holding ourselves still, right? That would be rigidity. Especially with Parkinson's, as many of you know better than me, the kind of dyskinesia bit, right? Where the body has a sort of desire to move and kind of roll and adjust. So you do not want to resist any of that. You want to actually allow that to go through. So even if a hand wanted to reach out, or the body wanted to lean, or you wanted to turn, or go with whatever it is that that sort of imperative of energy wants you to do with the body. But notice that you can be still even in the midst of movement. You can just be observant, present. The natural state of the body isn't stillness, it's actually breathing in, breathing out, heart pumping, blood flowing, nerves flowing to and fro. So we're a dynamic, living landscape, you might say. Final, just 30 seconds. Let's do our little opening movements. Slide hands forward of the knees, drop the head gently, soft grounding of the back. Slide the hands back, pull the elbows back, draw the shoulder blades back and look up. Just do 3 of each of these. So you're not in a rush and you're not forcing it. Just try to softly undulate and move in these directions. So that at no point are you losing that song, soft, supple, and tone, throughness. After you finish that third one, settle to the middle, go right to your rotations. Slide one hand forward, the other hand and elbow back, turning towards the hand that's going back side, and then back through middle and turn. Back through middle and turn, as loose as you can be. So we're coaxing the body loose, inviting it to just let go some of that interior grip and hold. Just 3 to each side, loose. Easy, soft, back to middle, hands hang, arms hang, just softly and softly. that idea of that young tree and that pliability, its ability to sway with the forces and not resist and become rigid. Finding that loose quality, come back to middle and stay in the middle. Bend the elbows, bring the hands up, and then we're just going to loosen up chest, shoulder, shoulder blade, this kind of upper region here, because this is a place where a lot of us hold. So float those elbows way, way up, as high as feels good to you. And then just let them, elbows come down, and then they come around and gently touch in the front. We'll flow through that a couple of times. And again, the intention, understanding, are you doing it right or are you doing it wrong? A lot of times people think, am I doing it right? But the intention is to unbuckle, untangle. So do that with this intention of moving through the space to loosen up and allow there to be this sliding quality of ease. Now pull the elbows straight behind you. This kind of squeezes the tissue in the shoulder blades and upper back. Then elbows go down, forward, and up, like you're trying to touch your upper back with your hands. So your hands should be sliding down the back as the elbows go up. And then elbows come down, back, and then down, forward, and even up. If up feels good, right? Don't force it, just ease your way through these movements. It's like, again, wringing out a rag, wringing out a sponge, squeezing areas, and then releasing those areas. And then elbows down by your side, float them out to the sides, one hand a little higher than the other, and then just cross and wrap the hands around like you're trying to softly hug yourself. And then out to the side. So the mistake, Greg, I saw you just make here, and some other people as well, don't cross your elbows. One hand goes under the armpit all the way around, and the other hand's totally above. Go ahead and wrap it around. There you go. That's correct. Because if you do this, you get blocked. So there, and then out, and just switch which one is on top of the other. So hug and open. So this is opening the back, opening the front. Opening the back, opening the front, one more. And elbows down. Scoot a little bit back on your chair. Let's do our leg work just to get those prepped. Bring the right knee up, slightly sideways. See, chamber, push, chamber, down, chamber, push, chamber, continue. And once more, extend that leg, hold it out there, point foot, flex foot. Invert, evert. Foot goes a little in, a little out. Circles in one direction, doesn't matter which. Nice, thorough whole circles. Switch the other way. Circles. Nice, thorough circles. And other leg, extend, pointing and flexing. Inverting, everting, slight in and out. Little sort of waggle of the foot. Circles. Reverse those circles. And foot comes down. Scoot once more to the very, very front edge of your chair. swivel steps. So left foot first, lift the ball of the foot, turn the knee and the toes out, but turn from the hip. Then the heel goes out, knee comes in. Then toe goes out, knee out. Heel goes out, knee in, toe out, and stays up. And then we walk it in. 1, heel comes in, 2, toe comes in, knee comes in, 3, heel comes in, knee out, 4, and back to the middle. So again, 1, heel out, 2, toe out, 3, heel out, 4, toe out, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back. One more time from the hip. Really feel the ball and socket. Turning, turning, turning. Over. Walk it in. 2, 3, 4, and we're back. Other leg. 1. Heel goes out, knee comes in, 2. Toe out, knee out, 3. Heel out, knee in, 4. Toe out and stays up. Walk it in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back. Walk it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Once. From the hip. 2, 3, 4, and we are back. Forward fold. Hinge at the hips. Bow yourself over. Sit back upright. Lean back. Sit upright. The goal here, moving from that hip crease. So it's the pelvis folding over thigh bones, making an acute angle, then going back to about a 90-degree angle, then tipping, making an obtuse angle, and then 90. So we want to get our brain very clear on controlling that place. That's where a lot of power and strength is housed, that relationship. Now, same type of movement, but let's go wide leg, because we want to open up this area known as the quad, the groin, hip, leg. This space in here is where movement in Tai Chi and Qigong needs to happen. A lot of times we're all congealed here. So step wide, hands on your knees, turn the hands so this little dragon takes a bow position. And fold between your legs, just go as low in that direction as feels good. And then sitting up. And then arms turn neutral and lean back. Just 2 more. Sit upright. Arms turn to that dragon position, fold between. Just feel that quad space that I'm talking about. The space right through there. So that's real estate that we want to have. And if the place is closed down, we don't feel like we have this interior room to move. Legs come closer together. And shogun, or closing gesture, we close our opening seated preparatory warm-up there. And this hand's down by our belly button, right in front of it with a couple of inches between space. This is our middle that can control upper and lower body. So a lot of times we think of our middle sort of up here. We're in our brain trying to do everything, but this is that middle, our energetic middle. Plus it's known as the second brain, gut instinct, deep knowing. We want to settle ourselves from here and work from here. Arms come to hang. Slide your feet back a little bit, and we stand up and sit down. So remember this folding at the hips. If you can get your shoulders and head and arms in front of your ankles, then you just need to go a little bit forward, and then you're able to push through the earth to stand vertical. Same way sitting down, I'll do it sideways so you guys can see the angles. I don't go back to sit down. Instead, I fall forward with the upper body, fold in half at the hips, then sink the butt, find the chair, then sit vertical. So these are the exaggerated versions to really show. We fold as much as we can, and notice that you can sort of fall forward into your feet and then just push through the earth and you're up. Same idea, kind of overdoing it, folding a lot at the hips, sinking the butt, staying folded and upright. So continue that version, or eventually you do just the amount of each of those that is necessary. So I don't need to fold all the way forward. I just fold to about there. Okay, right out there, I can feel I've got that interchange happening. And so then I just push through the earth and rise up. Sorry about that. Same thing on the way down. I don't have to overfold. I just get my tail back and sink it and find that sweet spot where I just slide down, and then I can slide up. Now let's do that with a few squats where you don't sit in your chair. Sink and rise. What goes back? Sink. Rise. Notice you can execute this with softness. Eventually, you're able to get all the way down to your toes just by sinking the tush with no work anywhere in the body, just by being loose. All right, now we're standing. Rock a little bit towards the front of your feet. Remember, we have more foot in front of the ankle. That's what allows us to almost tilt, to actually tilt forward and make an angle of tilt. We don't have that in the back. So when we go back to our heels, it looks more like this, where there's almost like my head and shoulders are this way forward, and my middle is what's going back. My middle goes forward. My middle goes back. Middle. Middle. So finding that real estate. Now, the next time you're in your toes, stay in the toes, and let's go over to the left ball of foot, where the right foot is a little emptier. Then over to the right ball of foot, where the left foot is empty. And again, still moving from that middle, loose. It's the sung and tong, the soft, supple, and through that allows us to have a good connection to the ground. Back to the middle, between the two fronts of the feet, and go back a little bit extra into the heels. Stay safe with your own edge. Now go over to the right heel. Moving again from this middle, left heel. Right heel, left heel. You want to emphasize the fact that you can be passive while executing this. Passive, at ease. And you're making this change from one to the other leg without work, without effort. Next time you're over in the right heel, stay in the right foot. Go from right heel to right ball of foot and back to right heel. Find that place, that middle place, where you can execute this without any other effort. Do your best not to grab onto your arms, holding your arms, let them hang. Because you want to feel that spacious quality here in the shoulder gates. Switch feet, so go across the heels to the left, come up the left foot to the left ball of foot, back to the heel. Find your middle, move from that middle. Then we make that circle. So come up to the left ball of foot, go across to the right ball of foot, go back to the right heel, come across the heels to the left. circle in that direction, and again, from the middle. So if you keep the middle sort of, even though it's moving, it actually has stillness. Sort of stillness in this middle of you. That's what we want to keep and cultivate, whether we're walking, running, jumping. Let's go the other way with the circle. So it's the stillness that underlies everything that can continue to be there even when we're moving. And finally, finishing, and find the middle of the middle of the middle. Now we're going to move closer to this chair over here. So you've got the hand near the chair, on the chair, however you want to use it, right? And now, ideally, no use of it, but it's there for safety. That's eventually where we want to get to. So let the weight go through the right leg. Empty left heel lifts, gets the tip of the toes, and then lower that whole foot to the ground and change. Once the left leg is taking the weight, the right leg feeling empty, lift heel, get to the tip of the toes, put that whole foot back down empty, change. Once that left foot feels empty, go heel to the tip of the toes, back down, change. From the middle. If you start to feel like, hey, this leg's kind of light and empty, you can disconnect and reconnect it back to the floor. Change. Disconnect, reconnect. Feel free to place a hand on the chair and even lift that knee pretty high. But what we're really focusing on is waiting until this actually becomes, till that differential happens. Then you can move it. And then waiting. Okay, now I'm over here. Then this can happen safely without disturbing the espresso cup on top of your head. Okay, so now empty this right leg, the inside leg, meaning it's closest to the chair, and put the heel out in front so it looks like this. And notice I'm not way out here. It's just right in front, nice and easy. And then we rock into that front foot, wait till this back foot actually gets empty, and then rock back. Get to the tip of the heel, loose like I've got it here, and then rock, moving from that middle, rock back, loose, rock, loose. Now you might need your hand on the chair for this next one. Lift foot, lower foot, shift. Back foot empty, just bend the knee, bring the heel towards the butt, place the toe back on the ground, shift back. Lift, lower, shift. Lift, lower, shift back. Lift, lower, shift. Lift, lower, shift back. Lift, lower, shift. Lift, lower, shift back. Now, hand on the chair, probably for sure on this one. Lift this whole knee up and then set that heel softly down. Repeat that on that leg. Up as high as you can get it. Back down. Stays empty. Stays empty. Now shift into that right leg. Back leg, bring the knee forward and up. Up. And then reach the toe back. Soft touch. So up, I'm staying in this leg, and I'm staying in this leg as I reach the foot back to where it's going. Up, back, and now shift back. So now we just flow that exercise. Lift, lower, shift. And this really trains differentiating. This is empty, it stays empty, and then I'm shifting, and now this is full, this is empty. empty, stays empty, shift. Empty, stays empty, shift. Think soft rather than strong. Think release. Allow the soft integrity of your body to hold you up so you can actually, you're training an arrangement, an alignment, rather than stiffening and toning and strengthening. Even though toning and those things will be happening, but you want to be emphasizing the ease, the alignment, and softness. Now, let's switch over to the other side. So we'll side step so you're closer to that chair. Inside leg should be your left leg now. Heel comes out. Shift. So this is the rocking chair, where the tip of toe and tip of heel don't leave the ground. So we're just getting that effortless movement forward and backward through space without losing the settled, still quality in the middle. The teacup on the head, undisturbed. Level 2 just means wait for it. This is empty, it lifts, lowers, then shift. This is where you're challenging yourself. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. When you feel this truly be empty, then it's heel to butt, toe touch, shift back. And then this leg, lift, lower, shift. Lift, lower, shift. So this challenges us to say, is it truly empty, or did I just spill the espresso cup all over? Is it really empty? Can I lift and lower? But remember, with this one, we don't bring the knee up. So this is just a straight leg, and this is just heel to butt, like a little flamingo. Okay. Now we do level 3, hand on chair as needed, and just repeat this lift and lower. So this is son, ton, all the way up, all the way down. The looser it is, the freer it moves. The looser it is, the quicker eventually you can move. Change, shift your weight. Now this back leg is the empty leg. It comes forward and up. Toe reaches back. Forward and up. Toe reaches back. Forward and up. Toe reaches back. Now, flow the exercise. Shift. Wait for it. Up. Down. Shift. Wait for it to be empty. Up. Back. Shift. There's this quality of swiftness that's only available through the training of soft and supple. There's this freedom of the limb to go and move very quickly because it doesn't have this tension and rigidity in the way. So that's where in the beginning you have to slow down so that you actually move a loose and empty limb that over time becomes loose enough to move quick. Right? Switch sides again. Set up inside leg out in front. Shift. So this is that rocking chair. Back foot being empty, let it just swing forward and the heel lands on the ground. Shift. So that's 2 rocking chairs. Now we rocking chair back. Swing that empty foot back, toe touch. Rocking chair back. Rocking chair forward, swing an empty foot, rocking chair forward. This is the most like regular walking. Rock, swing, rock. If you're just cruising through the supermarket or whatever, this is what you would be doing. But what's beautiful about it, if you understand this, you can be using your trips to the supermarket as practice. You're cruising along, shift, step, shift, shift back. Step back, shift back. Let's go level 2, like there's an obstacle on the floor. So it's lift and lower, shift. Wait for the back foot to be empty so you can pick it up and over an obstacle and put the heel down, empty, shift. Then this is flamingo, heel to butt, toe touch. Now we're shifting back. There's an obstacle right behind the heel, so we got to come up in front, bend the knee, tucking the foot under, and reach the toe back. Still no weight, and we shift. Lift, lower, shift, small obstacle, up and over, shift. Lift, lower, just training differential. One full, one empty. Other full, other empty. The empty leg, if you emphasize making sure it's empty, you can step it freely. If you don't ever create the empty leg, the whole time you're in danger. You're in danger, you're double weighted. How's your teacup? Check your teacup. Level 3, this is just knee up, foot down, shift, and then this is just exaggerated, like there's a high obstacle, heel to butt, knee comes up, foot softly extends and lowers, heel to the ground. And then we shift, and then the addition of this knee comes forward and up, toe reaches back, and then we're shifting back. Now it's up, reach back, keeping that good balance, and then shift. Lift, lower, shift. Exaggerated little bicycle maneuver. Shift, and then knee up, reach back, shift, exaggerated reverse bicycle. Up, down, one more, level 3. And switch, side step, inside foot, level 1, rock, swing, rock, casual, relaxed, upper body empty, upper body empty, middle consolidated and whole and full, stable. One leg, the other leg. Differentiating. So they're not two legs always the same. One's the full, the other the empty. Other the full, other the empty, like pistons that are pumping our blood, chi through the body. Let's go level 2. Lift, lower, shift. Small obstacle, up, over, shift. Heel to butt, toe down, shift back, small obstacle. It can be the smallest possible obstacle as well. And your lifts could be a matter of millimeters, right? You could just go just a little bit. But it's challenging you to say, are you really completely committed and correctly aligned to that leg? And then did you change? So get really good at good relationship here, good relationship here. And that eventually, with the soft and supple quality, can be instantaneous. Let's go level 3, up, down. Soft, supple through can be instantaneously full, empty. So then this is free to do whatever. And then instantaneous through, this is free. And then now this is instantaneously through, so then this can step. Of course, you can't rush that, but the point is, that's how slow, attentive practice becomes swift. One more. Shogul, closing gesture. Settle the hands to the middle. Now we're doing side steps. I'm going to be in front of the chair so you guys can see my feet, but you guys should be back here so you can use your chairs as we go sideways like this, right? So I'm in front and to the right side of my runway. So that's my runway going that way. So get to your, where you have that similar idea. Now, fill or commit to that right leg being your full leg. You got your teacup on top of your head. Left leg is empty. Side step it out to the side just a little and bring it back in. Notice what I'm not doing. I'm not going like this. Boom. Boom, which is more like jumping, one leg jumping. What we're really focused on is empty. Empty. So first you got to make it empty, and then you got to keep it empty. So notice if what will happen in the beginning is your congealed body will kind of go with the leg, but over time you'll start to find, oh, I see, there's a little real estate there. There's some space that I can step, right? Now keep the leg stepped out. Now change. Shifting, keeping the right foot on the floor, make the left leg full, and then back, make the right leg full. So this is full empty, and then we change, full empty, change. Check your teacup, just sitting on top of your head. Change. Change. Now, left leg full, right foot empty, bring that empty right foot in, step it back out. In, back out. Notice the torso and everything stays nicely arranged here on this left leg as I'm stepping. Now bring the right foot in as close together as you can and work on the change. So now right leg full, left foot empty, and they stay very close together as you change again. Left foot full, right foot empty. And so this emphasizes the downward throughness required for changing leg to leg. So you got to open the hip, open the knee, open the ankle, open the foot so that this one can become empty. And then we got to open the other hip, knee, ankle, foot so that this one can become empty. This is one of the most important practices, and you probably found this in your own life. You might get up from the couch and you got a coffee table right in front of you, you got some obstacles, and you don't feel like you have room. This ability to, in a closed space, empty a leg so that it's free to turn out or step forward or do whatever needs to happen. So this is absolutely practical and necessary, this little close range change. Now, the next time left foot is empty, step it out. Sideways. No weight. Change the weight into that leg. Now your right foot is empty, bring it in. They stay close together. Change so the left foot is empty. Step the left foot out. So now we're sidestepping across the runway. Bring the right foot in. Change. And so waiting, patiently waiting as you change. Wait until you're really committed here and this is actually empty so that it comes in. Change. Out. As I mentioned before, the instantaneous thing can happen here as well, where it's soft, supple, this is instantaneous, so then the foot can kind of shoot out. Similar here, change, and this is almost instantaneous, so this can come in. Let's go back the other way. So it's out, change, left foot being empty can come in, and there's almost this change, so then it can go out. And then change, so it can come in, but it's still empty and loose. Change, out. So the looser you are, the swifter your movement can be. But at no point are you rushing or speeding up. So it's just an example of how Tai Chi leads us in the direction of very efficient, very athletic movement, but through a different avenue. an avenue that is very important for aging and for things like Parkinson's and nervous system disorders. So now step out. You go back this way. In. Out. In. So some of you have been doing it a while. You might feel like you can play with this somewhat instantaneous thing that I'm talking about. Others, you really got to slow it down, wait, bring the foot in empty, change, wait for it, step. It'll be appropriate for your level or your abilities. You try to move fast too soon, all you're doing is sort of robotically clunking your way around the room. That doesn't help. Empty, step out. Shift, step in. Shift, step out. Shift, step in. Out. In. Out. In. And back to middle. Shogun. Closing gesture. Hands come up and over. And they settle, 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 settle down to our belly button or our middle. And we just stand there for a moment. Okay. Now, in between your chairs, right, as we talked about at the beginning of class, we have a chair over here, a chair over here. So now we can stand inside of them and have support on all sides, standing in the middle. Fill up the left leg, empty the right foot, turn that foot out. Turn it back to neutral. Pigeon toe that foot. Neutral. Out. So the whole time we're in the left leg, the right foot is empty, and we're turning it externally, neutral, internal. Now skip neutral and just go external, internal. Notice that the hips naturally turn a little bit with the leg, both internally and externally. And neutral. Change. Left foot turns out. Neutral. In. Neutral. Out. And just make sure what you're really working on is that you've got one full, one empty. And it's the empty foot, because of its emptiness, that it's free to move. Skip neutral and just go open, close, open, close, open, and neutral. Empty the right leg again. Turn the right leg out. Now we're shifting into this turned out leg, turning the hips with that and bringing the other foot, the left foot, to match it. Then we're shifting into the left leg again. Right foot is empty. Turn it out. Shift. Turn. Now you should be facing away from the camera or in that direction. Empty the right foot again. So its emptiness is its freedom to turn out. Once it's turned out, you shift into that leg, get yourself well established there. Bring that empty left foot to match. Empty the right foot again, turn the right foot out. Shift into it, turn the body to match, and bring left foot. Let's do that again. Around to the right. Right foot turn out. Shift and turn. Bring the left foot to match. Remember your middle, that place at belly button height, deep in at the belly, that's our settled, still place. That we want to just keep our mind resting there rather than having it be up in the shoulders or up in the head. We want to be settled through to that middle place. Just moving from there. After you finish that second round, go to the left. Empty the left foot, turn it out. Shift, rotate, and square yourself to the left. Empty the left foot again. Wait for it to be empty. Then turn it out. Then shift, turn, bring the right foot to match. Wait for you to empty the left foot, turning it out. And then shift and turn. And again, Again, empty the left foot, turn it out. Shift and turn, go around again to your left. Some of you will feel eventually like you can work with that idea of instantaneous, where you just drop through and turn out kind of all in one gesture, and then you shift and turn and bring the foot. And it happens quote unquote quickly or swiftly. But it has those elements of empty, full, and middle, the pivot in the middle. Now, right leg again, empty it. Instead of turning it out, turn it in, a little pigeon toe. Shift onto it and slightly turning to your left. Then empty the right foot, pigeon toe, that little turning inward, and reorient. So we're just reorienting ourselves in the room, pigeon toe, and then reorient. When you cultivate the middle and move from the middle, you accomplish a lot by doing very little. Boom, boom. So I've changed my entire orientation to the room, go around twice, just by emptying the foot and slightly rotating it and then shifting and turning. Now I'm facing a completely different direction. So like in samurai swordsmanship or martial arts in general, simple thing like this can change everything. Now I'm facing oncoming threats and enemies, and I think more practically is if the phone is ringing over there and I got to get myself over there, I don't want to turn from here and fall down. I want to change my foot position, rotate, turn, and head off in that direction. So cultivate this middle is very practical. Pigeon toe left foot, reorient yourself. Pigeon toe and reorient. Pigeon toe, reorient. Go around twice. Left foot turning in, change the weight. Simple concept. One full, one empty. The empty foot can make a positional change. Then if I go into that leg, make this the full, this the empty, and make another positional change. Simple, but very, very powerful idea to be cultivated. All right, and our final exercise for today, put those two together. Right foot turns out. You can watch me on this one if you're not familiar with it. You not only shift into the right leg and turn, but you then go a step further and pigeon toe that left foot. So you're putting both those together, and then in 2 foot movements, I can face 180 degrees from where I started. And we'll do that again. So right foot turns out, you shift into it, you're turning the body, left foot staying empty, and you pigeon toe that empty foot, and then you're ready to rotate, and now you're facing back to the front. So do that again, or for the first time. Turn it out. Safely shift, establish yourself in that right leg, turning the body and the foot to pigeon toe. Shift. Free up that right foot again so it can turn out. Change. So it's kind of an advanced movement. So if you're new, like if you just showed up, like Mitch, feel free to just kind of get your mind wrapped around some of these exercises before you really try them. Just kind of see if you can watch and see what I'm doing and see the simplicity of middle, empty, full. Middle, I'm keeping my stillness in the middle, empty and full. I'm changing which leg I'm relying on to connect me to the earth. Let's go the other way with that. Left foot turns out. I'm shifting, I'm not rushing. Turning, pigeon toeing. I'm changing. So if I can get this leg loose and empty and be established here, then I can turn it out. And if I can get that other leg full and this one free, well, then I've got the freedom to rotate and reorient myself, face this way. So go around again to your left. And then there's just variations of how you, instead of staying so close together with your feet, you wrap the feet around. And so there's all kinds of challenge and freedom that can be found just from this simple practice. And soft, loose suppleness is required. You can't be stiff. The especially early on, there's a lot of fear involved, so that makes us stiff. So take it easy. All right, shogun, closing gesture, and settle, 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 settle. Very simple self-massage to finish. Hands go on the groin, sort of genital area here. You got the two little V cuts right on the side, up and down there. That's an area that tends to get congested. So rub that space and then let your hands rub up on the hip flexors where the thigh bone ties in right there. So rub those. Come around the hips, find the tail, the coccyx tailbone, and then up onto your love handle area and your lumbar muscles. So this whole arena is so important, and for many people, it's all stuck and congested. And then like we're taking a squat, the butt goes back and it kind of sinks. The hands sweep down, come around the foot to the inside, and then you're standing up and coming up to the belly button. Then go quad or groin, hip flexors, sacrum and tail, lumbar spine, known as Mingmen, or the gait of life. And then squatting as you sweep around and come up. One more. Quad, hip flexors, sacrum, lumbar, and yang channels down around the foot, yin channels up to the navel, and then finally reset, yang channel up the outer arm, down the inner arm, up, down, same arm, up, down. So we go up the outer arm, turn the palm, come down the inner arm. Turn the palm, up the outer, down the inner. 1, 2, 1, 2. Switch, up the outer, down the inner. You can see you go up over the shoulder and it naturally rolls through. And bounce. In and out with the legs. Sort of like you run in place, heel up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Shoulders, wrists, forearms, arms, and shogun, final closing gesture. Hands settle, 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 settle. And then seal. Here's the belly button. 1, 2. And then the Taoist bow here, here. So it makes a little yin yang symbol. So harmonizing. And thank you, everybody. All righty, well done. Any sort of brief questions? I know many of you have places you got to be, so you're welcome to just wave and say bye-bye. But I can take a few questions as well. You'll have to unmute yourself. You have to unmute